Hey Salesforce Hubs, my name is Admin and today we are diving into a topic that is simple in words but critical in practice, before versus after context in Salesforce. Understanding this concept clearly will help you to write automation that is reliable, maintainable and interview ready. Many Salesforce issues do not come from writing bad code. They come from not knowing when and where to act. Before and after are not just timing rules, they define what the record looks like, what is allowed and what actions make sense at that stage. If you understand this, you already think like a professional Salesforce developer. Before context, shaping your data. Before insert or before update is pre-save. At this stage, the record is not yet saved or not yet committed. No Salesforce ID exists or no Salesforce ID is available. You can modify field values directly or fields can be modified directly. No DML needed or no DML required. It is used for defaulting values, validation logic and data shaping. Used before for setting default values, clearing or formatting data, basic validations. Example, auto-generate a project code like PRJ-2026. This works in before insert because Salesforce still allows changes freely. Tip, before is equal to shape the data. Now, let's head towards the mini project. Scenario, create a project object with two requirements. Auto-generate a project code before insert. Store the Salesforce ID in a text field after insert. Before insert. Now, when it comes to before insert, trigger context, that is trigger.is before and trigger.is insert. A part of this code because of the auto-generated values. Trigger.new, modifiable list of S objects, no DML required. That is the for loop which will help you to generate the ID. Logic, loop through trigger.new and assign project code is equal to PRJ plus system.current time milliseconds or MILLIS. So if we add the string value to date, that is today's date, then the milliseconds will be counted only if the project is available. So there are few changes which you can make so that which you have to make so that the project is in place with the auto code and the value should be part of this for loop. Reason, the record does not yet have an ID and before context allows direct field modification without extra DML statements. Result, all new project records automatically receive a unique timestamp based project code before count. Now, if we think about the scenario which I have summarized, you will understand that after context, acting on saved records will help you to save the record. After insert or after update is post save, that is after insert. So when we save the record, that is when after we perform an update on the record, then at this stage the record is saved or the record is committed and has an ID. Salesforce has assigned an ID. Trigger.new is read only. So now when we try to commit the code, Salesforce has assigned an ID and later the trigger.new becomes read only. But after we save, any changes require explicit DML. So explicit DML required for updates. Now at the end, used for related records creation and ID based logic. So after you use after update or insert, using the record ID, creating related records, integrations of flows that depend on the record existing can help you in copying the help you to copy the Salesforce record ID to another field. You cannot do this before insert because the ID doesn't exist yet. The after is equal to act on save. Now mini project example, auto-generate a project code before insert, store the Salesforce ID after insert. Why this works? Clear separation of responsibilities, avoids recursion and errors, follows Salesforce execution principles. This is how professional structure real projects. Common mistakes. Now when we read this code, there are mistakes which can be resolved only after we understand the mistakes and the identicals. That is, if before context is part of the record ID, then accessing the modifiers will be tough if we are not able to write this code with a handler class. So accessing the record ID in before context is the first mistake. Performing DML in before triggers is the second mistake. Modifying trigger.new in after context is the third mistake. Mixing unrelated logic is the fourth mistake. Understanding and avoiding these mistakes saves hours of debugging. Interview awareness. Now before runs first, after runs later. This is a wrong answer or incorrect answer. Before ensures data integrity, after acts on committed records is the right answer. The second answer shows execution awareness, what companies like Capgemini or TCS actively evaluate. Now, if we are able to understand this project, you will understand the logistics behind this project. It's a big lesson. Consider a project record. Assign a project goal before insert. Capture the record ID after insert. Why this works? Because each step respects its responsibility. No confusion, no conflict. Clean separation of thought. This mirrors real systems, technical or human. Mistakes that teach humility. Again, technology, like governance, rewards patience and structure. What interviewers truly listen for is not speed, not the emphasis on the negative remarks. They listen for awareness. Those who explain why something happens, not what happens, stand out. This session is an offering of clarity. If it helps you to think better, design better, and act better, its purpose is fulfilled. An interview insight. Strong candidates explain before versus after in terms of data integrity and execution guarantees, not just trigger order. One standard, thoughtful Salesforce learning can make you feel that you have to make you feel that my video deserves a like, a share, or a subscription. Accept it as participation, not obligation. Most importantly, leave a comment. Dialogue is how learning becomes collective. This is Shruti Amin. One standard thought, thoughtful Salesforce learning. Thank you.